Brain Teaching World. Good morning, or afternoon or evening if you're not watching us live. I am Joanna Willis. I am a Platinum Certified Trainer with Whole Brain Teaching. I teach second grade in Illinois, and I have two very special guests with me as always. Welcome. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Weston Lamb Costantino, or Bear. I am a gold certified music teacher here in Wyoming.
Yes. Oh, I forgot to say my street name, Wilsey. Wilsey and the Bear. And Kyla.
Good morning. I'm Kyla Tesmer. I am also gold certified third grade in North Carolina.
Yay! All right. And Kyla is going to be our producer. She's going to be in the background in the studio. She is going to be doing, watching the comments, and she'll be putting in all your notes for you today. So don't worry about taking notes. We want you to be active and engaged. Kyla will put in all the notes for you in the chat or in the comments. And so then after this is over, you can go through and copy all the notes that you like and paste them into a Google Doc or a Word doc or whatever you use. And that way you have all your notes from today. And what are we? Oh, so Kyla, we're going to say bye and we'll see you in a little bit. And what are we doing today, Weston? I don't know. My screen's not switching. That's the problem. Why isn't it switching? Technical difficulties. I need that little you know what I mean? Like the screen they would show on TV shows when You
got this.
There we go. Woo! Okay, we got it. Sorry, I'm having some seriously technical difficulties here. I just told Kyla and Weston in the private chat, I can't get out of my presentation. Anyways, but today, Weston, we are wrapping up our classroom rules with Rule 5 and the diamond rule. Yes, but before we do that, let's review what we've already learned this week. So we'll do that with the magic circle. Class.
Yes.
Thank you, class.
You're welcome, Joanna.
Okay, I actually just had a thought. Instead of doing magic circle, Weston, why don't we do a rule rehearsal? So I'll do a rule rehearsal like you would do this in your classroom. We'll just do the first 4 rules though. Okay. So, all right, we're going to do a rule rehearsal. When I say the rule number, I just want you to say the rule and the gesture. Rule 1.
Follow direction quickly.
Rule 2.
Raise your hand for permission to speak.
Rule 3.
Raise your hand for permission to leave your seat. Woo!
Rule 4.
Make smart choices.
Yay! Yes. And that is when you're doing your 5 rule rehearsals in your classroom, that is exactly how you can do it. And that took all of 15 seconds, maybe not even. And you can throw in funny voices with that too, which is always super fun. Okay, so let's move on to our first rule for today. The most powerful rule. Weston, I hope you didn't wear socks today.
No socks.
Me neither. No socks. They're not going to go flying off. Everyone right now, take a moment, take your socks off if you need to, because this is our most powerful rule, and we will use the magic circle to teach it. Class?
Yes.
Thank you, class.
You're welcome, Joanna.
Mirror words?
Mirror words.
Rule 5.
Rule 5.
Make our dear team stronger. Rule 5.
Rule 5.
Make our dear team stronger.
Make our dear team stronger.
Mirrors off.
Mirrors off.
Okay, you're going to teach that to your partner. Teach.
Okay. Rule number 5. Make our dear team stronger. Rule number 5. Make our dear team stronger.
Class.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, class.
You're welcome, Joanna.
All right. So why do we need this rule? If rules 1, 2, and 3 cover specific classroom challenges, and rule 4 addresses every decision a child can make, why do we need rule 5? Rule 5 is for those students who argue against rules 1 through 4. Weston, who do we need Rule 5 for?
Thank you, Joanna. We need Rule 5 for that student that's going to argue with rule number 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yes, exactly. Those students who claim they are following directions quickly despite moving at a snail's pace, or who are having conversations with no one. Even kids who they're not out of their seat, they're just sharpening their pencil. And yes, that was a smart choice when I pushed my friend down the slide. This rule is for those kids because no one can argue that their disruptive behavior is helping the team, which is the class. Okay, so when you introduce this rule to your class, you're going to tell them you are a team and we are all working together so that we can improve together. And because kids understand teams. They're on baseball teams, basketball teams, football teams. They're on, chess teams or math teams, or they've been on a team before. They know how it works. And so I always share with my students the story of my daughter. She hates that I share this story, but it's so good. And so please feel free to borrow my story. You can make it your own. So Weston, you sit back if you want to. Still make some gestures, but it's story time. Here's the story of my daughter, 4-year-old Lucy. She's not 4 anymore, but when she was 4, she decided she was going to do youth soccer. Okay, and so we go to the first game, and anyone who has kids who's played soccer, you know that 4-year-olds don't really understand soccer. All they know is they have to kick that ball into the goal. That's all they know. Most of the time, they don't even know what goal. They just want to kick the ball, right? So the game is going, and all of the little 4-year-olds are all like in this big clump on one end of the field because that's where the ball is. And I'm going, where's Lucy? I don't see Lucy. I look at the other end of the field. There is my sweet Lucy just twirling around and dancing and just having the time of her life. She couldn't have cared less about that soccer ball. That's when I knew soccer is not her sport. But I asked my kids when I finished that story, I asked them, now, was Lucy helping the team get a goal? And they're like, no. So I say, that's right. She wasn't making the team stronger. So I call that dance. When someone's not making their team stronger, I'll say, oh, we got someone dancing in the back of the soccer field. Even my co-teacher will use that too now because we've been teaching together for a couple of years and he's heard me say it so many times. And the kids know, oh, someone is not making your team stronger. So if you have a story about like that your kids can relate to for Rule 5, really try and bring that in because, as I said, this is our most powerful rule. Okay, so of course, Weston, you know that we want to power up this rule anyway. I mean, it's already so powerful, but we're still going to work on powering it up a little bit here. So I'm there we go. Oh, see, now that time that button worked. I don't know why. Oh, here's our poster for Rule 5, make our dear team stronger. Wait, I don't know why I'm still doing this. Went with when the rule used to be keep our dear teacher happy. But so that's our poster. And here we go. So Weston, the first way we can power up Rule 5 is with that rule call out that we've been talking about for all of the other rules. So at various times throughout the day, we can call out Rule 5 and the kids will respond, make our dear team stronger. So what's that first part of the rule call out, Weston?
Thank you, Joanna. The first part of that rule call out is when we see things, the daily practice of making our team stronger, we'll say rule number 5, and our students will say, make our dear team stronger.
Yes. The second part of this rule call out is once you have been doing your daily rule practices for a week or two and the kids are getting really good at it, now what you're going to want them to do is to emphasize Rule 5 in that daily rule practice. And so this could be something where they make Rule 5 really loud when they say it, or if they're sitting down when they're doing the rule practice, you can have them stand up to do Rule 5, that's usually what I do. My students usually make it louder because, of course, kids love to be louder. But you can also do it that way where they're just standing for that rule and then they sit back down for the rest of them. But we really want to emphasize Rule 5 in our daily rule practice. Weston, what's the second part of our rule call out?
Thank you, Joanna. The second part of our rule call out is when we're going to emphasize that rule number 5. So during our daily rule practice, we're going to do something that emphasizes rule number 5, the most important rule. Maybe we have our students stand up. Maybe we have them do it louder. Make our dear team stronger.
Yes, perfect. All right. So then our next way we can power up the rule is a little like turtle hawk practice, but I'm going to change this to the back talk stopper. Okay. So here's everyone just perked up, right? Because even second graders, and I know there are kinders and first grade teachers out there who are like, oh yeah, even my littles can get a little sassy and they do a little bit of back talking sometimes. So we're, of course, before that even happens, we're going to practice what we do in that situation lesson, right? Okay, so you're going to tell a student, okay, I'm going to start teaching, and then you're going to tell them, you're going to say, okay, now I'm going to start teaching, and Sarah, I'm going to tell you to pay attention, and I want you to be really sassy when you respond to me, and say, I was paying attention. Like you want to model how sassy you want that student to be when they respond to you, okay? Like, and all the other kids are going to be like, oh, she gets to talk back to the teacher? What? Okay, so you're going to do this. Start teaching, and then you're going to say, Sarah, pay attention, please. And Sarah, in her sassiest of sasses, is going to go, I was paying attention. And, of course, then we're going to praise her and have all the students give her a big 10-finger woo for her sassiness. Weston, what is our first part of our back talk stopper?
Excuse me. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love this, the back talk stopper. So the first part is we're going to pick a student, Sarah, and we're going to tell her, when I'm teaching, and I tell you to pay attention, I want you to sass me back. I want you to give me your best dramatic performance of what it would look like to talk back to the teacher. So when you say you're teaching around, you say, Sarah, pay attention. She's going to sass you back. I was paying attention.
Yes, yes. And I am sure, I know it's summertime, so we don't know who our students are going to be this year, but I'm sure once you get into the school year, you're going to pick out that kid who's going to be like, oh yeah, they can bring the sass. Okay. And then explain to the class that, when one of our team members is upset, we all get upset. It affects us all. And then we have to stop class. We have to stop learning, and we have to, help that student and calm down. And when really all we want to do is we want to keep learning and growing. So this time, you're going to tell the class that this time when Sarah talks back, I'm going to say Rule 5, and I want you all to respond with our rule and our gesture, make our dear team stronger. And that's exactly what you do. You start teaching and you say, Sarah, pay attention, please. And she's going to start to say, I was paying attention. And you're just going to say Rule 5. And everyone is going to say, make our dear team stronger. The beauty of this, Weston, is that it unites the class. And it's like they have your back, right? They have your back. They don't have Sarah's back. They have your back. The class is uniting together. And then you can just easily keep on teaching. So Weston, what is the next part of our back talk stopper?
The next part of our back talk stopper is the same thing. This time we're going to be teaching around, and we're going to say, Sarah, you need to pay attention. She's going to sass back, I was paying attention. And instead of scolding or making a big scene, we're just going to say Rule number 5. And the students are going to say, make our dear team stronger. We're united together and we keep on going.
Exactly. And I love this quote from Coach B. It's on page, actually, I'm not sure what page it's on. Probably page 69, because that's where all this other stuff is. He says, the key to stopping challenging behavior is to practice the class response before disruption occurs. Right? Like, yeah, we practice, and this is going a little bit into the philosophy behind Strong 5, which we're not covering today. That is a whole nother session. But we practice for fire drills. We practice for tornadoes. If you live in the Midwest, you practice for tornadoes. Maybe on the West Coast, you practice for earthquakes, right? But how often do we practice for those room clearing meltdowns? We don't, but we can with Rule 5 and with Strong 5, which again, we're not going into today because that needs its own session because it got its own chapter in the book, Weston. So of course we can't do it. Yeah. Because it's that amazing. Okay. Shall we move on to our last rule? Are you ready for this? Yes?
I believe it's the last one.
Yes, I know. Now, I'm going to address this before because I know someone's going to ask, why isn't it Rule 6? Because it's not called Rule 6. I'll tell you why. Coach does not like the number 6. So we don't have a Rule 6. What we have instead, Weston, is the Diamond Rule. And this is maybe the new, actually, I don't know if the kindergarten big rule was newer than this. But anyways, I remember the Diamond Rule when it came out. Because, Weston, 9 years ago, I was in an in-person training with Sarah Metter, TFAB, who's our executive director. I don't remember her exact title, but she's amazing. And I got to go see her in person in conference, and she introduced the Diamond Rule that day. And this was in April, and I went back to my class on Monday, and I said, I have a new rule for us. I'm sure they were so excited there was a new class rule. Anyways, so let's get into this. Class.
Yes.
Thank you, class.
You're welcome, Joanna.
Mirror words.
Mirror words.
The Diamond Rule.
The Diamond Rule.
Keep your eyes on the target.
Keep your eyes on the target.
The Diamond Rule.
The Diamond Rule.
Keep your eyes on the target.
Keep your eyes on the target.
Mirrors off.
Mirrors off.
Teach.
Okay. The Diamond Rule. Keep your eyes on the target. The Diamond Rule. Keep your eyes on the target. The Diamond Rule.
Class, class, class.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, class.
You're welcome, Joanna.
Okay, so why do we have the Diamond Rule? Well, kids are not going to learn much if they're not looking where they should be. And it's not always at the teacher, right? It could be at if you have a smart board or an active board, that could be their target. If they are supposed to be doing read to self, their target is the book that they're reading. If they're taking a test, the test is their target. You can see the target moves. So that's why when I do the gesture, that's why we point to our hands. I know that others will have them have the kids point to the teacher or whoever's leading the rules. Either one is fine because that target is flexible. It's going to change. Weston, what do we need to remember about the target?
Thank you, Joanna. What we need to remember about the target is it's always changing. It might be the teacher. If the teacher's presenting, it might be the smart board or the projector. It might be their book during a read to self or their test.
Right. Perfect. And sorry, my train of thought just left the tracks. Sorry. Oh, I remember what I was going to say.
It's so cool.
Thank you. With the gesture, you want to make sure that your hands are far apart. I guess if they're closer together, I'm not even going to do it, but it's apparently a very rude sign language word. And so keep the hands far apart when you're doing that one. All right. So let's look at, oh, you know what? Nope. Wrong one again. There we go. I forgot our cute posters for Rule 5. We have Maria and Lupe and Talia and Lulu. Yes, all of our favorite friends. And then also here is the upper grades poster. And then for our diamond rule, here's our regular poster for that. And before I get to the alternatives, let's talk about those power-ups, Weston. And I know you already know the first power-up. That rule call out, like we've been doing this entire time. I think there's a pattern here. So of like all the other rules, we can call out the diamond rule throughout the day, and the kids should respond. Keep your eyes on the target. And this time, though, they should point at where their eyes should be. So if you call out the diamond rule when they're taking a test, then they should point their fingers to that test. Or if you call out the diamond rule and when you're teaching a lesson using your smartboard, then those fingers should point at the smartboard. So it's a little bit of a twist on that rule call out there with the diamond rule. Weston, can you explain the rule call out?
Thank you. Just like before, the rule call out is very simple, but this time it's a little bit different. Instead of just saying diamond rule, keep your eyes on the target is going to be where they're pointing. So if you say diamond rule, they're going to say keep your eyes on the target, and they're going to point to the teacher or their test, wherever their eyes need to be.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, and then our other power up we're also very familiar with, turtle hawk practice. Again, a little bit of a twist on this one. So you're gonna, when you do the turtle hawk practice for the diamond rule, you're gonna have the students show you how the grade or even 2 grades below would act for the diamond rule. So you're gonna talk and they're gonna look at anything but you. And like you tell them, like, because I teach 2nd grade, so I tell them, like, show me how kindergarten babies, I call them kindergarten babies, sorry Skittles, or I say wacky 1st graders, sorry Blue, I know you teach 1st grade, but show me how kindergarten babies follow the diamond rule. And they're like this, and they're all over the place. And of course, then have a student stand up and talk to the class and have the students do the same thing. Even get your beloved Rascal to stand up and address the class and have the students do the same thing. Those kids are going to realize real quick, hey, that doesn't feel good. Being ignored by my peers hurts. So Weston was the first part, the turtle part of our turtle hawk practice for the diamond rule.
Thank you. The turtle part of our turtle hawk practice is going to be asking our students to act out what it would be like to be younger, maybe a kindergarten baby or a 1st grader. What would that look like to not keep your eyes on the target? And they'll be very dramatic, maybe spinning in the field like your daughter earlier.
Perfect. Yes. So then we got to do the hawk practice, and this time you're going to ask them, no matter what grade you teach, you tell them they need to show you 2 grades older. Okay, not just the grade above, but 2 grades older. And that's going to make them feel very grown up and very mature, right? And so when you're speaking to the class and they're showing you 2 grades older, like you should see laser focus. I teach 2nd grade. I should see 4th grade laser focused eyes on me. So what is the hawk part of our turtle hawk practice, Weston?
Thank you. The hawk part of our practice is going to be pretending to be 2 grades older. No matter what grade you teach, you're going to say act 2 grades older. They're going to take that very serious, and they're going to be laser focused on the target.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I keep clicking the wrong buttons. There we go. I know that in our last session, right at the end, or maybe after our live was done, Melissa Ortuno asked a great question, Weston. She said, how do you roll out the rules? And the answer I first came up with was probably not very satisfying for people, because my thought was, will you roll out the rules in a way that fits you and your classroom and your students? Which is probably not a satisfying answer for people who are brand new to this. the younger grades are going to obviously roll the rules out slower. I think in kindergarten, Skittles teaches one new rule per day. Skittles, please comment and correct me if I'm wrong. In second grade, all the rules are taught the first day, but not all at once. But I think in the upper grades, 5th grade, middle school, high school, I mean, that should be in the first hour, right? I'm thinking, I don't know. I don't do the big kids. So what I have, I can show you, maybe. Yes, I can show you. Oh, before we do that, I always forget about the post. Look how cute Diamond Dog is. Don't we all want a Diamond Dog? Oh, so cute. And there is our poster for the upper grades. Okay, so what I'm going to show you is the way I have it laid out for the first day. And you can see it says, this is the Wilsey way, customized by Wilsey for Wilsey. Not meaning that I'm not willing to share. I am willing to share, but I just want to emphasize that this is the way I do it, but I don't want anyone out there to feel like, oh, I have to do it Joanna's way. No. You have to do it the way that's going to work for you. And this is, keep in mind, this is after 11 years of doing this. And I know that my screen is very hard to see. I can share copies out if you need. But what I do, this is a Google Doc. And on the left side is all of the things I want to accomplish on the first day of school. So I do whole brain teaching lesson 1, morning greeting, which is in the book. Lesson 2, class yes, also in the book. Lesson 3, thank you, you're welcome, also in the book. Yes, it's all in chapter 6. The first 5 lessons of whole brain teaching are in the book, chapter 6, and it is scripted. So that is very easy. And then once my students know Magic Circle, then I use that to teach them rule 1. And then I teach them the 3-peat. And that's when we put away our school supplies to practice that 3-peat, which is something I talked about on Monday. And then we review rule 1. And I have them show me wrong way, right way for rule 1. And then I teach some morning procedures, like how they come in the morning. And then I have a student show us how to do it. And then the students practice it in small groups. And then we review, I didn't see it. I added in rule 2 there. Anyways, but I just kind of slowly add in the rules throughout the day. On the right-hand side where you see where it says lunch expectations, those are the things that I know have to happen at those times on our first day of school. So that's why those are there. Everything on the left is, this is everything I want to get done today. I don't know what time it's going to get done. So I'm just going to list it out as a to-do list. So again, I just want to emphasize, this is how I do it. This is not something that I sent off to Coach or Nancy and said, hey, what do you think about this? Is this okay? This is just what I do. And I'll quote Shyla Heater, who says, you do you, boo, right? Weston's been in some sessions with her and has heard her say it many times. Again, I am willing to share this, but just know this is how I do it, which may not be what you want to do. I don't know. But I'll reemphasize that chapter 6, all about Magic Circle, has great ideas for how to start your very first day of school, or the first day you want to use whole brain teaching. Doesn't have to be the first day of school if you're not ready for it. Okay, I'm going to bring Kyla back in. Hi, Kyla. And we're getting so close in time. I don't want to go too far over today because I know there's another session at 11. And I want to make sure people have time to if they're going to go to both, I want to make sure they have time to get up and go to the bathroom or whatever. So are there any really good questions that we need to answer?
I think you did great on covering everything. So 10-finger woo.
Thank you. Let's see here. Yes, please share the Wilsey way. Yes, I will. Melissa, do you mean you want me to share this, what I showed on the screen? We'll just sit here in awkward silence. I'm asking her she's in, I can bring her on studio with us. Yes, I can. Yeah. I can share how I do it. I'll try not to make everyone jealous with how much specials and plan time I get.
I don't even want to see it.
Listen, we have a very long school day. I think my district has one of the longest school days in the entire state of Illinois. So those times are necessary. Yes. Okay, Melissa, I will definitely do that. Definitely do that. Facebook user, a great question. I don't know. We as an organization do not offer CPDU. Like we don't have a certificate or anything. I don't know what state you're in. I know in the state of Illinois, when you do a PD or whatever, you get that whatever it is, that little that piece of paper that says that what the organization was and how many hours, like how many credit hours you get. As an organization, we don't offer that because we are international and every state has their own thing. I do know that when I went to an in-person conference with, again, TFAB, Sarah Metter, she was in the state of Illinois and she was able to, I feel like she was able to offer Illinois CPDUs for teachers who taught in Illinois. Don't quote me on that. It was 9 years ago. So I could be totally wrong. But yeah, I would just check with your district and see if that'd be great if they would. Where is the link to the younger cute posters? Kyla, do you have that link handy? Okay, Kyla is going to drop that in the comments there for you, Stephanie. Coming your way. Yes, it's in the quick start. So you just scroll. Actually, it's also in the images for the book. Yes, it's in both places. Yeah. Both places. Free. Our favorite.
Joanna, there was a good question about, do you do similar things that like day 2 and day 3 when you're rolling out the rules?
Yeah. I just happen to have that open. Yes. So, and this is all in the same doc. So when I share it, you can see, again, this is from last year, but like for second day, I have a Peace Circle introduction. I have rules practice. I have some curriculum stuff in there. I have unlock scoreboard. Although this year I'm going to do Starries. I don't know if I'll unlock scoreboard right away. I also have teaching the the first 2 wonder words the second day. Yeah. So yes, similar, a little bit more structured on day 2. And then, like I said, I know I need to teach the rules first day. And I try and get Starries or scoreboard going pretty quickly. But I kind of have to play it by ear too, in terms of when everything gets rolled out. I just kind of have to see how the kids are responding. So, and if you're brand new to this, then I would say focus on the rules and the class. Yes, that's where I started 12 years ago with Liberty Teaching, 11 years ago, however long it was. I think that's where most people start and get really comfortable with those. And then you can start adding in other pieces and don't feel like, oh, it's April, I can't add anything new. Yes, you can. You're going to tell your students, oh my gosh, I have been waiting all year for you to be ready for this. And now you are. They don't have to know it's brand new for you too, right? You were just waiting on them. Half day. Yeah. Yeah, ours is a 2:20 dismissal, so I get almost a full day. If you're doing half day, I mean, I guess it just depends. You might not get through all the rules in the first day. If you're teaching 5th grade, yeah, you easily could. But if you're teaching 1st grade, 2nd grade, maybe you just do rules 1 and 2. I think you'd have a pretty good first couple days with just rules 1 and 2. So absolutely. No more Zoom classes. Yes. Which is great, because one, you don't have to worry about racing to the website on Fridays and trying getting signed up before everyone else does. Also, if a session doesn't work for your time, it doesn't matter because these are being saved. You can go back and watch them. At the top of the group, there is a button that says guides. And if you click on that, then you will see all of the lives that have been done so far. And so you can go back and watch them as many times as you need to. So yeah, absolutely. No more Zooms. Bye bye Zooms. Oh, if your district is doing like their own training with Coach or Nancy, those are still through Zooms. But just whoops, I was trying to get rid of. There we go. Okay, Melissa says we no longer give out certificates, but many states have options where you can track your PD hours on your own and submit them. So, oh, yes, thank you, Melissa, for pointing that out. This is totally volunteer for us. It is a work of love. You can tell we wouldn't be doing this if whole brain teaching didn't work. We do this because we are so passionate about whole brain teaching, and it has helped so many of us that we want to help every teacher so that we keep teachers. I don't know if you've heard, but there's a teacher shortage. I don't know if this is like mind blowing to you, but there's a teacher shortage. TikTok is full of teachers bragging about how they quit. And I'm trying to stop that because this is the best profession. I mean, this is the best profession ever. So yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to shut things down because I know there's a session coming up soon, and I know Weston is part of that, and he needs to go start getting ready for that. He needs to go jump into that studio. So up next is Weston. What is the session you're doing with Crystal?
Oh, that is a great question. We are going into Super Improver.
My favorite. Okay. Well, yes, definitely need to let you go for that. So, guys, stay tuned. There are many more sessions coming next week. Us three are going to do scoreboard on Tuesday. So if you have been wanting to learn how to do scoreboard, how to motivate your whole class in a really easy way, please join us next Tuesday, and we'll see ya. Bye, guys. Thank you for coming today.